Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to the PHNX Daily Bet Show, brought to you by the one and only DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook. Bet just $1 on any football game this week and get $150 in free bets when you sign up using code PHNX. I am joined, as always, by the, juicy pick general, Johnny Venerable. How you doing, Johnny?
I'm good. I'm juicing on the Jaguars tonight. Some might say I'm jagging off to the Jaguars tonight, baby. And
Oh, my
this is the
God. I
show.
hated that.
This is the show that's going to turn everybody around on Trevor and Urban and make you a lot of money in the process. Shane, you'd be wise to listen up.
I got your picks this morning, and I was ill. I almost threw up. I was so close. You gave
Yeah.
me. We'll go into it later, but
You got to be
oh
bold
my
to
god,
make money, man.
yeah, that's true. What are you expecting to see from the game tonight? Picks aside.
Picks aside, well, first of all, it's the Bengals. It's not, the Ravens. It's not, Kansas City. It's the Cincinnati Bengals, and they're
Yeah,
coached by Zach Taylor, who I think has a lot to prove left. I think the Bengals, to me, are probably feeling pretty good about themselves after last week's victory against Pittsburgh. That's a divisional game. You get up for those. Now you're on a short week with expectations. The Jaguars looked competent in their game against the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals, for what it's worth, are significantly better than both of these teams. This spread is huge. I don't get it. The Bengals, I could argue, have been just as bad the last couple of years compared to Jacksonville, certainly 2 years ago. And I also think there's an underlying storyline that we're not talking about enough, and that's Trevor Lawrence losing in the national championship to Joe Burrow while he was at LSU. Revenge game on Thursday Night Football between two teams. Not a high on, but I do think that Jacksonville has at least shown enough.
hmm
This isn't the Jets
yeah,
or the Bears where they literally can't pick up first downs. I mean, what's that Jags game last week against the Cardinals? They were in control until Urban put his foot in his mouth and they threw that flea flicker
yeah,
college BS, pick six. Otherwise, that game's probably a one possession game down to the wire. So
yeah.
I like Jacksonville in more ways than one tonight.
I like what you're saying about them not being, that Jets or old Browns team because the thing that is holding them back, truly, I think, is definitely not the talent. Um, their secondary isn't as bad as people think.
Yeah.
And they signed Shaq Griffin from Seattle. Their pass rush isn't terrible either. And then obviously they have some firepower on offense.
Mhm.
For some reason, last week they didn't realize they had James Robinson until late in the third quarter. And then they were like, oh, yeah, this guy's good. And our offensive line is winning the battle. And they just marched down the field. So, yeah, I think a lot of it is kind of Urban getting settled in and
Yeah.
trying to figure out what's working. And, yeah, he's playing Alabama every week. But speaking of college football, on the other side of the ball, with LSU, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase,
Mhm.
I was at that national championship game
Really?
when LSU won. Yeah, so I was able to see in person the Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson hookup with Joe Burrow, um, and that offense might be more talented than this Bengals offense is.
I think a lot of people think that's the greatest college football team of all
Yeah,
time. You think about the talent collection on the roster, certainly not the coach, but definitely the schedule they played, ranked teams every week,
absolutely.
blowouts every week, putting up 60 points regularly. And you got to remember too, they had Clyde Edwards-Helaire on that team. Defensively, they had stars all over the place, especially in their secondary. So yeah, Joe to me, I think he's going to be a steady pro. I do
Yeah.
not think, and we're kind of getting off topic here, but comparing Joe Burrow to like Kyler Murray,
No,
I think Burrow's
you can't.
ceiling is much more limited. I don't think he's
Yeah,
as great as athlete as people make him out to be. His comp coming out was Tony Romo. I don't see that necessarily. I see a steady guy with a good, not great arm that's going to throw on average 25 to 28 touchdowns a year, and that's good enough for Cincinnati because they've got low standards. But I watch some throws that Trevor makes.
oh
And
yeah,
last weekend he threw a touchdown on the move to the back of the end zone. It's a different stratosphere. And I hope people are able to appreciate that tonight because I think we've got a little bit of a sleeping giant with him and his mental makeup and his ability because that division is so bad. It's prime for the taking. Whereas Cincinnati, you're going to have to compete with the elites in Baltimore. Pittsburgh's eventually going to figure it out. They're going to ditch Big Ben and get somebody competent. And then Cleveland has maybe the best roster in the NFL. So
and Joe Burrow's not Joe Burrow right now. I mean, it's arguable that the Joe Burrow in college was better now,
no
at least
doubt.
because of the ACL, obviously. But yeah.
I would make an argument, or I tried to make the argument that the Jamar Chase pick was a poor one at the time, and I'm looking pretty foolish right now.
Yeah.
I thought they should have taken Penei Sewell.
Penei Sewell, yeah.
We'll see how that transpires. He looks pretty decent for Detroit. Jamar had a tough training camp. A couple touchdowns to begin the season, was the rookie of the month. So I'll eat crow on that. But I just think that it doesn't matter how great receiver core is. If his knee explodes again, his career's probably over.
Well, speaking of knees exploding, that goes into my first pick. Give me my picks. Pull them up tonight. Joe Burrow under 8.5 rushing yards. I think he had 6 and 1 and 0 in the first 3 games. He just doesn't leave the pocket, nor should he. And the under quarterback rushing yards have done me good in the past. I took the Aaron Rodgers under 7.5 where he had 6. So I'm expecting something similar where maybe he has to scramble on a broken play and gets 4 yards or something. So give me that under 8.5. It's a gross pick, but I love them. I also have the Bengals minus 7.5, despite everything we were talking about. I think this team is just fired up right now. They're at home. I do love betting QB rushing, Jacob. They're at home.
You really
do. And I mean, they realize that this could be the season where they make that next step. And I think that the Pittsburgh game came at the perfect time, even though that team isn't that great. They're still the Steelers and they have the stigma. So stomping on them like they did gave them a lot of confidence. And as I talked about earlier on the Jaguars side of the ball, James Robinson, he's still James Robinson. He's still as talented as he was as a rookie. I think they're going to use him a lot more today after realizing it was starting to work last week. I think he finished with 70-something rushing yards. And he still didn't have that many carries until the third quarter, fourth quarter. So give me that over on his rushing total. And those are my 3 picks for tonight.
This will be a fun experiment because we're going to go complete opposite ends of the spectrum. And typically, Shane, you and I are pretty lockstep, certainly on the outcome of the game. I'm going to disagree. If we could throw up my picks on the screen in more ways than one, we're puking here on PHNX Daily Bets. I like the Jags money line plus 250. They lost 18 straight games. Again, Shane, do the math for the fine people at home. You put $10 on this game on plus 250. How much is that paying you out?
$25.
$25. $100. $250. So you got a little bit of disposable income. Maybe dabble in the Jags money line because I do like that. And I also, by the way, you could parlay that to cover. That's a given at plus 7.5. I also like Trevor Lawrence to go over 243.5 passing yards. Did you know that Trevor has more passing yards on the season than Joe Burrow?
Why are you talking like a preschool teacher?
I knew that, Shano. So I think that hits. And then lastly, Trevor Lawrence over 1.5 TDs. Their receiving core is better than, I would say, maybe a third of the league.
It's really good.
Chark, Laviska Shenault Jr., if I can pronounce his last name. Then you got James Robinson, who's a competent receiver who you just talked up. They're running the ball effectively. James Robinson, 5.2 yards per carry. Carlos Hyde, 5 even yards per carry. This is an offense that really has stepped on its own foot, so to speak.
For sure.
Turn the ball over more than any other team in the NFL. I think they get it together. Cincinnati's defense isn't great. Name me one Cincinnati defender. They got a couple defensive ends that are of note. Their secondary is terrible. They exposed 2 bad quarterbacks in a row. They got Andy Dalton 2 weeks ago, who was terrible. And then they got Big Ben's corpse, who's done. Now they go up against a spry Trevor Lawrence, who's looked good at times in every game. I think he puts it together on national TV. I think Urban says, enough of this shit. Zach Taylor's not beat me. I just lost to Cliff Kingsbury. I think they take care of business on the road tonight. Cincinnati with expectations, get the hell out of here. They're not going to do anything. So I like the Jags.
Jesus,
+7.5
Johnny.
and the money line. Make yourself some money. Bet on the Jaguars tonight.
Did you just come at me with that? You're lucky.
Yeah.
You're lucky. You're not. I'm not coming to the office anytime
You're lucky
soon.
I'm not in your childhood bedroom right now. Dear God,
dude, you can't discount the 2006 Rattlers. We were electric. I would hammer the over on our run total every single night.
I was just about to say, what was your average that year?
Oh, I hit for power. I didn't hit for average.
Gotcha.
My last,
I've seen you in person. I could see that.
Yeah.
Jacob thinks you're 6'1", though.
Yeah, that was ridiculous yesterday. It blasphemy, absolute slander on Jacob's part. Can we stop talking about my room? This is a bet show. We're not betting on what the color of my room is. So let's get on to our Flyers section. Let's pull up look at the thing that I kind of want to switch us out one time. I think we should
fly the airplane.
I'm
flying this plane. When we crash and burn because of the Jaguars, I'm piloting this shit, man.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I think we should switch it every week, and whoever has the best picks the week before gets to drive the plane.
That's fair.
Okay. All right. We'll let you go first, Johnny. What's your flyer for the night?
So I like Marvin Jones plus 1,200 for the first TD. He's been relatively quiet. That was like their big free agent signing. Yet he leads the team with 194 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. He's their number one target, but typically Marvin Jones has 150 yards on average. He's a really great receiver. He's somebody that I think has meshed well with Trevor. They just have to get him the ball more. And I think tonight against the susceptible Bengals secondary, he goes off and again, $10 plus 1,200, you're paying out $120. So that's one that, forego your Starbucks today. I couldn't do it. I need my pumpkin cold brew, but you forego that and go make some money on Marvin Jones.
My flyer for the night is Johnny not getting a pumpkin cold brew at plus 1,600.
I already have one today. Haha.
I bet it for tomorrow. So
okay.
I'm gonna come to your house and lock you up in a room and watch you shake because you don't have the sweet cold brew. All right. My actual prop my flyer for tonight is Jamar Chase, first tutty, plus 700. I almost took the anytime touchdown for one of my picks for today, but I just really like the what he's been doing lately, and I could see a scripted drive where they run the ball on the first play, and then the second play is a shot play where Jamar Chase has a slant across the middle or something, and he just runs. I think when people look at his small frame, a lot like Justin Jefferson, two pretty similar guys, he doesn't get enough credit for his yak and how quick this man is. He is so shifty, not only on his route running, but also his runs after catch or yards after catch. So I like him to escape. And again, I just don't believe in the Jags as much as you are trying to convince me. I'm a little bit convinced, but I'm sticking with my guns here. I had a nice sleep in my childhood bed, and I had a dream that Joe. No, it's a full size. I'll have you know.
Nice.
My feet just hang off a little bit. But I had a nice dream that Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow were coddling me after a tough night out, and they told me everything was going to be okay, and that the money I spent and lost at the bars was going to be made up by them, their props tonight. So thank you, Joe.
I hate to tell you this, Urban Meyer's going to take a big dump on your dreams tonight, and he's going to snap this losing streak because he is not a loser. He's a winner. But I like the anytime TD more with a parlay because, of course, your odds are a little bit less. The first or last touchdown is something you can bet outright, make some pretty good money on. And where can you do that, Shano?
Well, speaking of that, the same game parlay. I have a juicy one tonight on DraftKings Sportsbook. I think Jamar Chase anytime touchdowns like plus 100. So not incredible, but he's almost guaranteed a touchdown if the Bengals play well. I think I have that parlayed with the spread, parlayed with the halftime result of both the Bengals winning both halves. And then James Robinson's over for a nice crispy like plus 950 or something. So some good stuff. So I'm excited for this game, but if you want to be even more excited, well, I shouldn't say even more because I don't know if you're not betting on this game. If you don't have skin in the game, you're probably
Why
not
would you
very
watch
excited.
this game if you're not betting, though, is the
Yeah,
real question.
exactly. So if you want to be excited by any means, go download that DraftKings Sportsbook app, use promo code PHNX, get your $150 in free bets when you place just $1 on any football game this week. That's promo code PHNX at DraftKings Sportsbook. 21 plus, Arizona only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit and $1 wager required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Johnny, are you a little more excited about this game after talking about it?
I can't wait. I'm counting the hours right now. I'm actually going to take my family to the airport and fly them back to Illinois so I can have the house to myself to fully immerse myself in Jaguars at Bengals and watch all of my picks prosper, and then take my winnings and go do whatever the hell I want with it.
Well, once you see later tonight after the game a fat zero in your bank account total in the DraftKings Sportsbook app, you can go ahead and give me a call. I know you're going to be lonely. You can FaceTime me if you want to see all this. So yeah, just let me know if you need anything tonight, Johnny.
That's horrifying. Please stop.
All right, my people. I appreciate you guys joining us again for an awesome Thursday night football preview. It was electric. It was fun. Johnny still has to bring up corpses and pumpkins every single time. I think he's just excited for Halloween at this rate. Yeah.
Hey, we're previewing the NFL slate tomorrow. Don't miss it.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one on Football Friday. And don't forget to read Johnny's articles. He's going to have a rapid reaction after the Cardinals game at gophnx.com. We have a great new deal of the week. Those ASU and U of A shirts just dropped yesterday. They're 20% off, or they're buy one, get one free right now. So go ahead and copy one of those. You can get a free shirt if you get an annual subscription of $60, or you can just try the Go PHNX website out for 50 cents for the first month and read some great stuff. We got some cool stuff coming. We're going to teach you how to bet here soon if you're new to it. So if all these words are confusing to you and we have just been rambling about death and pumpkins the whole time, come check us out at gophnx.com, and we appreciate you guys.
I'm confused by your scenery there in the background, but I'm good about everything else.
What's confusing you the most?
I'm confused about the Steve Nash signage and just the
So Steve Nash actually retired, so I took him off my wall, but I left the basketball because basketball does not retire.
That's true.
Any more questions,
also
Johnny?
Reminder, buy one get one 50% off for those tees, those fresh tees that I can't wait to start rocking. I would rock both the ASU.
Oh, it's 50% off. It's not free.
Yeah, buy one get one 50% off.
Okay, I was lying. I'm sorry, guys. I do this sometimes.
No, you're good.
All right. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow for Football Friday. And bet happy, bet well. Download that DraftKings Sportsbook app. Peace, guys.